Here's where, right now, America is fucking up. A scientist who has been tracking white genealogy for years has declared that only 10% of the world population is actually white by blood. This isn't people who look white, people with African ancestry that don't admit to it, people with Native American ancestry who existed in the United States under the Pocahontas exception, or Latin American, Cubans, and others who now declare themselves white. And that includes Italians and others. White Caucasians, not white accepted in America, only genetically make up 10% of the world population. So what does that say to the rest of us? That since the dawn of the inception of the United States of America, since the colonization of Africa, South America, and all Caribbean and other islands by white people, they were dependent upon non-white tools and knowledge to exist. And still they do that today. But I digress. If not for a black scientist, the COVID vaccine would not exist. People in Congress will not still be alive if it were not for a black woman. I'll go a long way back. Because y'all pompous ass motherfuckers are really pissing me off. I'm going to talk about Henrietta Lacks. Born on August 1st, 1920. And died on October 4th, 1951. This African American woman, while she was suffering from cancer, went to Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland. Extracted from her was every single solitary genetic and scientific makeup of the vaccines that save white racist lives today. It's known as the HeLa, which is still used for medical research. This one woman, against her will, on white supremacy, had these cells extracted from her. Because at that time, they knew that this was revolutionized medicine to preserve white people, not black people. Because if you know from the COVID experience in 2020, black people were not the first to receive the vaccine, even though most blue states finance red states, and a racist Republican, now MAGA and fascist president, decided that black people should die so they didn't vote, because they didn't vote for him. And as upset as you might be by white people being killed in the streets of Minnesota, and George Floyd and others, it started here. It started here. This is the genocide we face today. This is the slavery that we face today. Once again, people like Cory Booker and Hakeem Jeffries and other black people taking APAC money are doing the work of our oppressors, because all white people have done since they landed on these shores in 1492 is take, demonize, take, demonize, take, demonize, take, demonize. I can take you right back to the Indian Wars. When the American newspapers, the same way they're doing now in corporate media, called the Native American who was here first defending their land savages, insurrectionists, terrorists, those are terms for this time, but for that time it was different. Back then, they said that Native people were taking their land. They were taking their freedom. Then when the enslaved people of the United States were released through the Emancipation Proclamation, which, don't get me wrong, was not it was not granted to black people. Through the, how do I say it? It's so hard to talk about this for me. Through the benevolence of white people. It was granted to piss off Robert E. Lee and recruit black individuals to fight for a white cause, from which they got no restitution except for destitution. So we come to the civil rights movement, where they're going to give you a little bit more. So a few of you dumb motherfuckers, you low IQ people that we exploited, we can let you go to college on a GI Bill, right? Go fight for your country. Be all you can be in the army. And still today, they're showing black soldiers in Donald Trump's videos while they tear down in every military institution and on every street corner in America, every black black soldiers' contribution to the freedom of this nation. And it's not the freedom of this nation. World War II Korea, and Vietnam were absolutely not for the freedom of this nation. If you believe that, you're low IQ. Go wave your flag and shove it up your ass. Because we have never gotten anything from any military service. Right down to now. Keep your attention on this. The same veterans of Korea, Vietnam, and World War II who are still alive are being stripped of their benefits. Let that sink in. So, let me make this clear to Democrats in Congress who are black and Democrats in the Senate who are black. I remember my ancestors. Do you? I take particular exception to being called low IQ because of the color of my skin. Do you? What did John Lewis mean to you? What did Martin Luther King mean to you? Don't motherfucking sit here and ask me to vote for you this November when you do not, through action, not words, honor these people. This is non-negotiable. Let me tell you what black people today, and I'm going to even go back to people like Kamala Harris. I don't think she meant to, but I'm going to say this. These individuals who ran against Trump never went to the bayou of Louisiana. They never went to the islands off the coast of South Carolina where the Gullah Geechee live. They never went where toilets didn't flush. They never went where forgotten 90-year-old black people who don't have a ride to the polls because they have been gerrymandered in places like Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Texas, and we can go on and on and on about the southern states. I don't need an autopsy of the Democratic Party to know what the fuck went wrong. What I need is people like Bernie Sanders, Zoran Mondani, AOC, Jasmine Crockett. Yes, Jasmine Crockett. Let me think of another name. That woman from Ohio. I can't think of her name right now, but she's up and coming. Anyway. I'm thinking Maxwell Frost. My mind is on, I don't know. Robert Garcia, Greg Chavez, Cesar, I'm sorry, not Chavez, Cesar. We have plenty of real people in America that want to be real Americans. But what is not real America is people like everybody over 40 right now who is getting along to get along, who is not out in the streets. There will be no Elizabeth Warren where she's at. There will be no Cory Booker. There will be no Hakeem Jeffries when we're finished. Right now, the clock is ticking. Those of you who want us to vote blue no matter who, it ain't gonna happen this election. Maybe it might happen in 2028. So I want to talk a moment about KRUSTI NOEM and what you all wake up to every day and just keep it going. Keep it moving. If you voted for Donald Trump and you really want to apologize because you want a piece of the country we're going to make without you, you're going to have a lot more to do than just apologize and do the work and all that. And I granted, Paul Lance, who put a video out about this, he's a great Christian man. And he stands up for Black America. However, the rest of the country has been waiting for this since 1492. So it's not enough to these fuck around and find out people to decide now and cry on the internet. Oh, I spent 3 months to... Well, I spent 53 fucking years dealing with your bullshit. So no, my 10 is not large. No, I don't forgive you right now. You need to do like we do in Native America and prove your fucking worth. Shit or get off the pot. You want to do something? Do a general strike. You want to whine on the internet about how you fucked us over? Organize every state in this union. Make phone calls. Send out. You got money, right? The Republicans gave you coal jobs, right? They lowered your taxes. They lowered the gas prices, right? You dumb motherfucking Appalachians. Did you not learn from the first time a white man, I think his name was Kennedy, visited Appalachia, got your vote, and left you hanging? But unlike people of color like me, Kennedy delivered. Because he needed the votes. Before that, you had the mine wars. You had companies like, I don't know, titans like the Carnegies and the Rockefellers against you. And that's where you come from in Appalachia. Did you get a resurgence of revenue from Donald Trump? You hate black people? While you were sitting around waiting for your savior, black women, who gave you the COVID vaccine, by the way, are the largest demographic of educated Americans right now. Not you. Because like you did during slavery, you waited for some white man to come around and give you something. Grant you a plantation. Give you your due because your skin was white. Same as it ever was. During the Cold Wars, the Molly Maguires, Appalachia, and every white place in America is Appalachia. You fell for the okie doke. So I would present the argument that the people with the lowest IQs, the monkeys, the stupid people that they talk about, they're not us. They're you. Because you're still waiting. We have ours. Not by birthright, not by killing people, not by being racist, and not by being assholes. It's called education. Get you some. That's something no man can take away. Now I sit here while white people bitch and moan about not being able to afford peanut butter and vegetables, fresh vegetables and all. Why can't you plant them? Why can't you plant them? You're the genius. My ancestors taught me to go to college and get an education. And during the summertime, I planted crops. So we don't have to rely on food stamps to eat. Us low IQ motherfuckers don't need handouts in certain places. You do. Because you did not educate your people in medicine. Oh, every time I go to a hospital, it seems like every nurse or doctor is black. Really? Go figure. Those dumb, low IQ motherfuckers might save your life. Ain't that some shit? Here is what Donald Trump promised you. Coal jobs. Government jobs. Rising minimum wage. And just jobs. He was going to, increase it 5, 10, 15 times what Joe Biden did. Here is what you lost. That Democrats gave you every time they got into office. A lot of you lost your Medicare. most of you in red states lost your food stamps. You lost your emergency assistance under FEMA that was doged. Veterans bennies. For all of you white people that went over there during rah, 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 and you still rah, 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 when you come home, you ain't gonna have shit. You're not gonna have a place to live. Now, let's be clear. My generation paid for the last generation to have their benefits. And they're okay. And that's good. And I'm okay with that. I did my job. But you voted for a fucking asshole and a retard. And yes, I say retard, meaning retarded people are not retarded. These people are. You lost your Section 8. In red states, Section 8 there's a line longer than you will live to see. But here's the kicker. You dumb motherfuckers, including Democrats, got on the internet and said, Kristi Noem is fired. She's gone. No. Not even close. Out of some tour of the planets in Donald Trump's head, he decided not to fire Kristi Noem officially, but he thanked her for the murders, the incarceration, and human trafficking of thousands of American citizens, and then said, wait for it, and then said, wait for it, that she was going to be appointed to some, I don't know, special envoy for the shield of the Americas. What the fuck is that? And where did it come from? This is what white people in America do. Now, as 10%, like I said, I moved you here, 10% of the American population, the greater question is, do you think we're going to stand for this? Fall for the okie doke and continue to believe that 10% of white people can shed 340 million Americans' blood in the street enough to make us fall to fascism. While you are at war in Iran, plotting a golf course in Gaza, and also, last I heard, fucking around in Ecuador. I know you can't fund this, because in, I don't know, a few months, we're not paying taxes. So, if you can fund all of this shit with $1 million a missile, have at it. But while you are over there jerking your dick off to the people you're killing. We're going to be over here not only planning the trials, but building our resistance. And thinking about our Second Amendment. And how 1/10 of the white population of the world believes that their lawlessness will defeat people who believe in the law. Martin Luther King said, and I'm just gonna, I don't know, fit this for the times. No, I'm gonna say it right. Injustice anywhere perpetuates. Wait. Oh, I messed up. I'm going to leave that alone. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it like this. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. The rule of law under the United States Constitution only applies when the rule of law works for everyone. When lawlessness is the order of the day, all of this under the Constitution falls under the First and Second Amendment. It is null and void. When we are oppressed and physically attacked by tyranny, we, as sovereign citizens, have the right to defend ourselves. Case law. Was the Trayvon Martin case. Stand your ground. Now, if a black man accosts a white man and does the same thing that ICE agents are doing now, there would be a bloodbath in the streets of any city in America. If a white man does it, it's evening news. The Maryland 400 said that changes today. A no vote for American democracy means you are not being considered seriously for the 2026 election in November. I kid you fucking not. This is the end of the road. White people have the luxury of talking shit on YouTube and doing the politics and waiting for the, oh, what did Donald Trump do today? The rest of us are going, we're posting up. We're done with this shit. People who look like me don't have time for podcasts and influencers. All we have time for is the unity, preservation, and the liberty for the next 7 generations of people in the United States of America of color, especially Native Americans. If you don't fit in that, lead, follow, or get the fuck out. The one thing you are going to do, one way or another, is get the fuck out. Because every last one of you does not belong in my country. And if you can't act like you have some sense and represent yourself on my behalf, you're getting the fuck out of here. I guarantee that. If we don't vote you out, this is the Woke Socialist Podcast. Sorry. Please like and subscribe. Absolutely. Have the day you voted for.